like how you always recommend people. Cut off the sugar, don't eat junk, don't put into your body something that the body may not need, right? Same thing you do on a mental level. Nobody thinks to think negatively. The negative thinking or the negative thoughts happen very naturally. This may have scientific evidence, this may not have scientific evidence, but thinking positively works out for you. Scrolling is the new smoking. People keep scrolling so mindlessly, not understanding they're wasting their life on it.
But I think that is being influenced by your...
The environment also influences your behavior so much. I grew up in a very dysfunctional family. I did not have a lot of money. Like, my dad was into gambling all his life.
If we are normalizing divorce here, are we following the wrong thing?
The minute I have a disagreement with my partner, the first thing I'm going to look out for is for me to get out of the relationship. Every perfect picture that goes out there on social media has gone through immense edits and immense photoshops for it to look the way it is looking right now. Even you go to the same places where that amazing influencer has posted that picture from, the place won't look that beautiful.
Hi Gayathri, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Dr. Paul, for having me here. It's a pleasure.
You've done a wonderful job on the social media platform. And I came to know about you through one of your reel. You need to wake up in the morning with an affirmation.
Yes.
From that point onwards, my affirmation was to see you. You are doing a wonderful job on the platform.
Thank you.
We need people like you.
Thank you. Means a lot.
But what the idea behind to have you on the show was to educate the audience. You know, we always talk about the gut health in my program, but I always emphasize the fact that gut health is based on your brain health.
Absolutely.
And there is a strong gut-brain axis connection, and it's a two-way traffic.
Yes.
Where the signals from the gut goes to the brain, and the brain goes to the gut.
Yes.
In your practices, what I have seen, which is very practically, and by the way, you are very convincing. I don't know how you project yourself. You're very convincing. How will you convince my audience that that positive affirmation in the morning will help you strengthen the brain-gut axis?
The best times for you to change your subconscious beliefs. So first of all, let's understand why it is important for us to change our subconscious beliefs. Whatever is happening to us in our life, our external reality, is a reflection of what is going on the inside. So what is going on the inside? A lot of people come back and ask, I don't want to think negatively, but I'm thinking negatively. The solution to that is nobody thinks to think negatively. The negative thinking or the negative thoughts happen very naturally. It is because of the beliefs that we have, and belief is like the root of a tree. And no matter how rotten the fruits are, every day you pluck it and throw it away, again it is going to be rotten fruits again, because the roots have a problem. So for you to work on changing your beliefs, early morning as soon as you wake up and right before you go to sleep are the best times, because this is the time where your brain is moving from alpha to beta. So when it is in the alpha is nothing but the frequency of your thoughts, frequency of your brain waves. That is the time, the best time, which is suggestible for you, which is whatever you tell your brain again and again, again and again. See, beliefs are nothing but repetition of thoughts and evidence is attached to it. Right? So whatever I keep telling myself again and again, because when I was growing up, let's imagine my mother kept telling me, you're unhealthy, your body is not fit at all, your immunity is very less. What do you think ends up happening after a point of time? We become a very unhealthy person, or we become a person with very less immunity in the process, because that has been fed to us for such a long period of time. We've made it our own reality, we've made it our own truth. So now that is why I always say, your limiting beliefs are not your fault, but it is your responsibility to start working on changing them. Because without changing the limiting beliefs that we have, no matter what opportunities we get in our life, it's highly impossible for us to look at the opportunity as an opportunity. Because we were just having this conversation, right? If I have a negative belief system around money, okay, I believe money does not grow on trees, or somebody who has a lot of money is very evil. Every time I've been presented with an opportunity that has a possibility of giving me a lot of money, what would I do? I would either procrastinate, or I would end up self-sabotaging that entire thing. Because all beliefs are self-fulfilling prophecies, which means if I believe I'm not good enough, any opportunity that comes to me, as a result of taking that opportunity, I might become good enough, I will not take that up. So that is why it's extremely crucial. And as soon as you wake up, the more you start reaffirming, saying, I'm amazing, I'm good enough, I'm worthy, this day is going to be an amazing day, and you repeat the same things before you go to sleep, it starts to go deeper into your subconscious mind, and that starts to become your belief. When that becomes your belief, you start to operate from that space. That's why it's crucial.
Most of the times when I see a patient with irritable bowel syndrome, okay, so the first thing they are coming to my clinic, they just get better when I just say there is nothing else going on.
Exactly.
There's a concept called reassurance.
Yes.
Reassurance and a placebo effect
yes.
as well, right? So where we keep on telling them there's nothing to be worried about. I'm there. If you have any issues, we'll take care of it. And then, we say that, believe that there is nothing wrong.
Exactly.
Believe there is nothing wrong.
Exactly.
Sometimes I feel like, are we taking that like too far?
Okay.
I'm just talking from my experience. Let's say a patient comes in and then says that it's very easy for you to say, there is nothing wrong, but I'm having the symptoms.
Yes.
And we do so many endoscopies, so many blood tests, and invariably everything comes out to be normal.
Yes.
So then what we do is we refer them to our GI psychologist in the hospital. 6-month, 9-month treatment with that psychologist changes the belief what
Yes.
they have eventually. So telling us that, writing the affirmations, is that the same as what these guys are doing?
Oh, it's very similar.
Similar.
We use different modalities. So the point of, we'll also be talking about manifestation, right? The point of all of these practices, it can be affirmation, it can be reading your goal cards, it can be visualization. Everything is a medium for you to get to a point where you believe what you desire is what you deserve. When it comes to manifestation, when it comes to health, the more all of our cells are constantly listening to us. We may not be opening our mouth, we may not be saying anything, but internally there's a voice that is speaking and we are constantly listening to that. That voice is listened to by all the cells in our body. And if I keep telling myself, I'm unhealthy, I'm not fit, I hate myself, what do you think ends up happening? I think there was this one experiment which is very debated about also, but I love that experiment. It was done by Dr. Masaru Emoto. Yeah, it was in Japan.
Yamato sounds Japan.
Yes. So where they did an experiment on water. So when you ended up saying very mean things to water, I hate you, or you said some hateful things to water, and you took that droplet of water under a microscope, you start to see the structure being very disgusted. But when you ended up saying amazing words, I love you, I'm grateful to you, you're amazing, the same structural change of the water was something very beautiful. If a body is made up of so much water and we're constantly criticizing ourselves for, I don't look good enough, I am fat, I am this, I am that, I'm unhealthy, oh, I always fall sick. I've heard so many people say this, I always fall sick, my immunity is so bad. That's exactly what your life is. Because you've constantly been instructing your cells to fall sick because you believe that is true for you. And what do you think the cells end up doing? They fall sick.
There's a book called Power of Subconscious Mind.
Oh, it's a great book.
Right?
Yeah.
When I read that book, I felt like this was like a hoodoo thing.
Yes. I am glad you brought that up because half the world believes what you believed initially. Because not just that book, I think even when the book The Secret was released.
Yes.
Yeah. Everybody was like, okay, now I can just think about something and I will manifest it. It divided the world into two. As in, one half of the world which truly believed in this, the other half of the world felt like, dude, this is not working out for me. Reason being, human beings love fantasy. Because our lives are so boring, we cannot. Why do you think so many movies, in just one song, when the hero becomes like super wealthy and super rich, people love that? Because that is not possible in the reality. So when you see that, it is kind of giving you that, what would I say? Out of the life experience, bigger than life experience, and you feel like, oh my God, this is what I want. So Secret, the intention of Secret, which pretty much spoke about law of attraction, what the author missed out on, a very crucial part, was law of vibration, which she wrote 17 years later in her second book called The Greatest Secret. Brilliant book, where I think she's had a spiritual awakening before she wrote that book, which talks about much more deeper concepts about the universe, much more deeper concepts about human beings, how we believe and how everything manifests in our life. And that was a brilliant book. But a lot of people just stop with Secret and think, if I just sit here, think positively every day and think about what I want, tomorrow it will come and fall on my lap. That's not true.
You can ignore if this is not a right question
Right.
for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think the angle to that is there is multiple evidence supporting this approach.
Yes, correct.
Okay? But maybe we might not have a randomized control trial to prove that, okay, this is, but that's going to take some time.
Yes.
So in general, even the subject of nutrition, the same concept happens as well, where is the evidence behind this? Okay. But the problem over there is that the surrounding environment may not support the use of that particular ingredient.
Absolutely, yeah.
But here, there are other evidence where, either placebo treatment or a reassurance, or there is a strong connection between the brain-gut axis. All this are pointing out that this positive belief, reaffirmation, have something to do
Yes.
with this. So let's say I'm seeing this podcast and then I'm going to wake up in the morning and I start thinking positively, right? As a matter of fact, I am a very negative person.
Okay.
But my wife is absolutely positive. Absolutely positive. I mean, she's like, she doesn't even say cup half full, she kept like cup completely full.
Full, and it's overflowing.
It's overflowing.
I understand because I pretty much look at life like that too.
I will be like, why is the last drop is like spilling still?
Yeah, I get it.
But I think that is being influenced by your childhood,
Absolutely.
right?
Yes.
Don't you believe so?
Yes, absolutely.
Childhood experiences will dictate how you think?
So basically, from the age of 0, okay, that is when you're in your mother's womb, until the age of 7, everything, what you see, what you observe, everything just goes into your subconscious mind as beliefs. If I had parents who were constantly quarreling, which I did, my parents would always fight 24/7, and the fights would always be around money. And it was quite a dysfunctional family. So my association of love while I was growing up was there needs to be conflict. If there was no conflict in a relationship, it means it's a boring relationship or it is not even a relationship. Because children absorb everything and it starts to become the subconscious beliefs. So 95% of who you are and who I am at this point of time is structured and created even before the age of 7. So all our beliefs. That is why we tend to think, we tend to feel, we tend to believe what our parents and our close community did. So now the beauty is the subconscious mind is malleable. You can change your beliefs irrespective. I think up until like a few years back, there used to be this misconception that after the age of 33 or 34, you cannot change a lot of beliefs. I don't think it's true.
I see.
At any point of time, because I have clients who are in their 50s, who are in their 60s, who have the power. You need intent, you need conscious effort. Till it becomes effortless, you've got to put in that effort. Because the neural connections are already formed in the brain, right? The brain always likes to take the path of least resistance. Because it does not like to dissipate energy. Whatever is already formed, I want to take that path. Now for you to break that path and tell your subconscious mind saying, hey, this is not unsafe, I will still be alive if I do this, because subconscious only job is to keep you alive. It does not want you to die. So anytime you step outside your comfort zone, the subconscious is misunderstanding that if I get outside my comfort zone, I will die. So it is going to protect you to keep you in your comfort zone. That's why you constantly reassure to yourself saying, I'm safe, I'm always protected, I'm always taken care of. And the first few days of resistance that you feel and changing comes because the neural pathways are already formed. The brain does not want to create a new neural pathway. That is why it takes a little bit of time and effort, and this process of change is where most people give up. First 2 days, motivational. I saw this podcast, my life is going to change. After 2 days, you get back to your old ways of living because you also live in the same environment. The environment also influences your behavior so much. So I still say, like, after living by myself and after living with my husband, now I still know if I went back to my parents' place, my old triggers will start coming up. Because the environment triggers all the suppressed emotions inside of you. So you'll start to feel that. So childhood, especially if there are parents who are watching this, or if there are people who want to become parents in the future, please remember, your child's not just the future, your child's entire life is dependent on how you treat them, what you tell them, how you make them feel in the first 7 years. I believe as parents, the only 2 things we have to do is give them unconditional love, number 1, because nobody else in the world will give them that. The second thing is build a very strong, resilient mindset for them. Make them believe they can literally be anything, they can literally have anything, provided they put in that amount of effort and work. That's it. They are capable of anything. If these 2 things are there in a child's mind, in the subconscious beliefs, they become achievers. They have very strong self-concept. They don't become people pleasers. They have very strong self-concept.
How do you know whether a child is a people pleaser?
Okay. Most of the people pleasing attitude comes because of the parents. I used to be an extreme people pleaser. I'll give you an example. So, my household, 90% of the time fights, and the house was a messy house. Especially when relatives came or when neighbors came, my mom will like clean the house entirely from morning until evening to make the house look spick and span. Why? Because she wanted somebody else to perceive a different thing about us and the family. So, as a child, when I kept looking at this, my mindset was okay, if I am the way I am, I won't be liked or accepted. So, I have to be somebody else for me to be liked and accepted. So, I started to build a facade around myself, and people pleasing also comes because of the fear of abandonment. So, for example, let's say you're asking me, Gayatri, can we all go out for dinner? Okay, I have a specific plan that day. But because I don't want to be abandoned, I don't want to feel those emotions of abandonment, I just end up saying a yes. I say, yes, yes, we will go. When you say a yes to something else or someone else on the outside, by saying a no to yourself, you're abandoning yourself. So you end up, this is a vicious
I
cycle.
see. But isn't it the fear of missing out?
Fear of missing out. Okay, I think my team member and I were having a conversation yesterday. We were talking about the beauty of having an abundant mindset. Most people think the abundant mindset only comes with respect to money. Okay. So we were having this discussion, which was very beautiful, where she said she was watching a podcast where there was this line that was told, and she said that was very interesting. You and I are having a conversation right now. I've switched off my phone. I'm not even thinking about it. I am just in the present moment having this conversation with you because I don't have the fear of missing out on anything. I feel so full and I feel so happy in the present moment that I don't have the fear of missing out on anything because I believe whatever is the best for me will naturally come into my life. Whatever information I need to hear or I need to know in order for my business to grow or in order for me to grow, it'll naturally come to me. If that is my mindset, I'm constantly not going to feel like, oh, if that person is messaging me, should I take this call? No, this moment is so precious because I'm having this conversation with you. So when your mindset is of scarcity, that is why a lot of people feel jealous also, right? Jealousy is an indicator of scarcity. So, for example, let's say you make $1 million. One of my goals is to make $1 million. The minute in my reality I get to know this information that Dr. Paul has made $1 million, there are two ways I can perceive it. The first perception is, oh my God, how did he make $1 million? I think he had a lot of influence. Maybe he had a lot of people who helped him out. He is not that capable.
Definitely not through YouTube. Good.
So this is one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it could possibly be, oh my God, if the universe has sent Dr. Paul into my life and showing me the possibility that he's made $1 million, then the universe is trying to communicate to me through Dr. Paul saying $1 million is also possible for you. So it's the same thing that's happening, but you have two different responses. Both the responses are based on the first person had a scarcity mindset. If you have it, I cannot have it. There are only limited resources in the world.
But that's how we grew up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Most of the time it's always like that.
Yes, always. So when a neighbor became rich, the first thing our parents would say is, oh, they did some scam. Oh, they're not some great people. Oh, money is not the ultimate thing. See, is money the ultimate thing? I love what Jim Carrey says. I wish everybody becomes millionaires and billionaires for them to realize money is not the ultimate thing. My point is, get to that point for you to have that realization. Because money gives you a lot of freedom. Because of the wealth that I've built in the last few years, I can literally do what I'm more passionate about. If I could not build that, I will be at home cooking. Cooking is not something that inspires me. I have a house help who cooks really well and she's passionate about it. Now I can really make her life better and her family's life better because I make my life better. So money is extremely crucial. All of this, most people think if I want a lot of money, which means I'm not spiritual. I don't think that is true. Money is just plain simple energy. The more you vibrate at a frequency of abundance, money and the opportunities that will make you money will naturally gravitate towards you in your life. So it's a misconception.
How do you change your mindset for the abundance thing? Is that something that you keep on working at?
It's a forever journey. So in life, always, human beings love to evolve. So for example, let's say I'm in standard 7. I will have that internal drive to go to standard 9. That internal drive, which you may not be able to explain to other people in words, is something that's constantly pulling you, right? In the process of going from one mindset to another mindset. So, for example, let's say I'm making 5 lakhs per month. The same mindset that I have right now, the same beliefs I have right now, will not help me make a 15 or a 20 lakh per month at this point of time, right? Something inside of me needs to shift. Gayatri needs to become a completely different person. My external reality is a reflection of my identity. What is my identity made of? My thoughts, my beliefs, my suppressed trauma, my actions, my behavior, all of this put together. Unless I work on this and change it to become the version of Gayatri, the better version of Gayatri, whose beliefs are different, thoughts are different, her actions are different, behavior is different, and she's worked on releasing her trauma also, she'll never be able to attract the 15 lakhs or 20 lakhs, no matter how many opportunities are given to her. So, the core of anything that you want to manifest in your life, it can be an amazing relationship, it can be lots of money, it can be beautiful health, it can be literally anything, is for you to go back within and understand you are the common denominator in your life. So, I hear a lot of people say, I used to be one among them, I keep attracting toxic relationships in my life again and again. Only to pause and realize I was equally the toxic one. Because if you are a people pleaser, if you let somebody walk all over you, then what about your self esteem? What about the self concept you have about yourself? Until you fix that, you will keep attracting different faces but same people. But once you change, once internally, see, think about it like a magnet. The magnet attracts iron fillings into its life. So now the problem with people is, I don't like this iron filling, I don't like this external reality, I'm going to take it and throw it away. You can throw it away today, tomorrow it's going to come back again because of the property of the magnet. You are the magnet. When you change your properties, the kind of things that you attract in your life also starts to change.
But if a person has a very difficult childhood,
Oh, yeah.
or example situation what you mentioned that the quarreling among parents is pretty common.
Yes.
It's, very common.
Yes.
And especially when you are coming from a middle class family or
Yes.
something, it's a money has been a major thing, and the conflict between the parents, as you rightly mentioned, that was considered as a relationship thing.
Yes.
I mean, most of the time
It's very normal, is what people say.
very normal,
Yeah.
very normal. But now I'm going to argue that it's a completely different phase right now I'm seeing.
Now, this is the other side of the extreme. Yeah.
Now they are thinking that quarrel itself should not happen at all. So I'm just going to talk to the middle version of this.
Yes.
So let's say a person has been grown in the childhood, seeing their parents quarrel or in a negative environment. When they enter a relationship, how difficult is for that person to handle the relationship?
Extremely difficult. Talk to me about it. My husband grew up in an environment where his parents showed a lot of love to each other. They did not fight a lot. I grew up in an environment where my parents showed love only through fights. So when we got into a relationship, my husband was astonished to see why I fight so much. He's like, everything is fine. Why do you fight? I was like, I don't know. The emotions are coming, the anger is coming. Only to understand that I was recreating my own childhood. So now, slowly, when I started to understand, you don't have to fight in order for you to, because my body, so now what beautifully they say, I think Dr. Joe Dispenza also says this very beautifully, a body becomes a second mind, which means the thoughts and the experiences are so strong that the body remembers, just like how you remember how to drive a car. Your body remembers the experiences so strongly that you create scenarios around you to get you back into the familiarity of what the body knows every time. So it took me a lot of conscious effort for me to sit down and process my own triggers. Every time I got triggered, it was not because of what my husband did. It was because my body was addicted to being triggered. So you sit down, you process it, you sit down with those emotions, you let those emotions go, you start doing a lot of inner child work, you start reassuring the little boy or the little girl who's on the inside, saying, it's fine to be in a safe relationship. You are in a safe relationship irrespective of the problems, irrespective of the fights that are there. So what we will have to understand is whatever we have been familiarized to as children, we have more tendency of recreating that when we grow up as adults. It takes a lot of conscious effort and work for us to unlearn that and relearn the healthy ways of living. And this entire concept of, oh, we should never fight is the other extreme of the spectrum. When you're triggered, it's natural human tendency to have a fight. But how healthy can your fights be? How much can you have a conversation with your spouse or your partner and make it healthy and still have a way to vent out your emotions? Because now what ends up happening is, okay, now we should never fight, suppress all the emotions. The suppressed emotions show up in your body as diseases after a point of time. So find a healthy way to learn to communicate with your spouse or your partner or your parents, and also learn to work on the triggers in your body.
But I think it's very complicated. I'll tell you why.
It takes time, yes.
It takes
yes,
time, and it's
yes.
very complicated as well. The reason I'm saying that is, let's say in a relationship, na? So nowadays what I'm saying is that I personally feel like there is no compromise at all.
Yeah.
Right? So, similar to what you were saying, that, you need to establish what you are thinking and all those things. At the same time, okay, it is my way or highway.
Oh, yeah. yeah.
Right. So, where is that fine line? Where, so, there's why is there so much of divorce happening these days?
Yeah.
I think lack of compromise has been a part of it.
Yes. So now what has happened is our parents' generation compromised a lot. Now people are like, I will never compromise. I will never change myself. I will be the way I am. If you want, be with me. If you don't want, leave me. This comes from a very superficial way of looking at a relationship. Any two people coming together, there is going to be a conflict. It can be your colleagues, it can be your spouse, it can be your friends. There will be conflicts because not everybody in this world will think the same way that you can. So now what you need to have is, in a relationship, have non-negotiables. So in my relationship with my husband, we have a non-negotiable that no matter what happens, we will fix the relationship. The D word, we're never going to use it. No matter what happens, we will never use it. If it is my problem, I will work on it. No matter how difficult or resistant I am to it at this point of time, it is my responsibility to work on it. For him also, it's the same. So when you're not commitment phobic, a lot of people don't even get into marriage these days because I'm so scared of commitment. More than being scared of commitment, what they're really scared of is being hurt in the process. They've been hurt so many times when during their teens, or they saw their parents going through a divorce and all of that. They've been so hurt. They created a wall around themselves and saying, no, this time I don't want to be hurt. I will be hurt only when I commit to you. So I will make sure I don't commit to you so that I'm not hurt. That's again, you're operating from a space of coping mechanism. How about you put your walls down and come from a space that I will be in a relationship, I will be in a committed relationship, I will fall in love. If I am hurt, I have the capability to move through the hurt. So otherwise what they end up doing is they keep resisting. Anything that they come, they keep resisting. But whatever you resist is going to persist in your life. Because the universe is trying to teach you a lesson through the thing that you're resisting. But when you let go, for example, let's say, this is something I believe because of my life's experience and a lot of people that I've seen in my life. The major challenge that you have in your life, the biggest challenge that you have in your life, when you kind of don't resist and you overcome that challenge, with the process of you overcoming the challenge, there also comes a treasure of abundance, love, and literally everything that you've asked for. So it's literally you willing to go through the process of letting your guard down and becoming your most authentic version. So that when you become that, all that you've asked for in your life also follows suit.
But letting your guard down, that means that people are afraid that
somebody will come and hurt me.
But their authentic self might not be the person that they like.
So basically what happens is, so Gayathri as a person has a facade around her. Okay, all of us have facades. We all have facades depending on the levels of how much of lack of self-love that we have and how much of validation we want from the external world. So now what ends up happening is, in the process of being in a relationship, most people put up a facade. They put their best foot forward for them to be loved by somebody else for who they are not. So now when you actually walk into a room and you see 10 people, in that you see one person who does not even care about anybody. That person is really happy, but they're very genuine, they're kind, and they're also very compassionate. You're naturally drawn towards that person. Why? No facade. There is no mask. The person is just being comfortable with who they are. The reason why most people are uncomfortable by being who they are is because they don't love themselves. So when I don't love specific aspects of myself, I don't want Dr. Paul to see that, because I'm so scared that Dr. Paul will judge me for what I've been judging in myself. So I put up a facade. And you see the facade and you start liking the facade does not stay for a really long time. When this facade opens and you get to see who I am, you're kind of confused. Who is she really? That is the kind of confusion that you have. So the beauty of you attracting the right kind of a partner in your life should boil down to a point where you accept yourself for who you are. Once you accept
yourself by yourself.
Yes. If I don't love myself for who I am, I'm constantly going to keep seeking on the outside for people to love me. It is like constantly seeking validation. It is like somebody filling water in a bucket with a hole at the bottom. No matter how much the validation, the bucket is going to feel empty again. Because the bucket is going to feel empty, just like how we eat when stomach is empty, you're constantly looking on the outside saying, who will come and love me? Oh, so you are loving me, so I will go to any extent to make sure I keep this love. It's very toxic. More than it being toxic, it's a lot of pressure. Because you really don't have that energy to create a meaningful life. Rather, you're using that energy to kind of manipulate people and manipulate things around you. And now, looking at certain things, videos that are going viral on Instagram, I mean, manipulation is accepted as love. Toxic behavior is accepted as love, which is so unfortunate to see.
Given the current situation, when we're in this topic,
Yeah.
what do you say? Arranged marriage or love marriage?
I think this entire concept of arranged marriage will not exist probably in the next 10, 20 years.
Seriously?
Yeah, it won't exist. Because people have started to see, for example, let's say 20, 30 years back, the word divorce was
A
very
big
taboo.
no-no.
Nobody wanted to talk about it. But now it's become normalized. People have started to normalize that. Similarly,
But do you think that's how it was in the US, right? In the US, every other household
had a divorce. Yes.
and then their childhood was so
Yes,
messy.
yes.
I'm telling you, all this psychiatric disorders, bipolar, schizophrenia, everything has this predisposing factor of childhood trauma.
Yes.
And why is psychiatric disorders are increasing in US?
Parents were not together.
We're not together. I'll tell you, a patient came in. Patient is getting a surgery. I come out. I say, who's the family? There is no family at all. Okay, because mom and dad are split, and dad has another stepmother, mom has another stepdad, and they have their own kids, and the fourth kid of that stepmother is outside to take care of this kid.
Oh boy.
If I love Indian families, because when I'm in the US, when I see an Indian patient will be completely resting, but all the family members around him will be like
Yes.
so tense.
Yes, yes.
Right? So that is a very stark difference.
Yes.
Compared to my practice over here in India and the US.
Right.
What I was thinking was India is so blessed
Yes, it
to
is.
have such a strong family support, because the placebo, reassurance, and all those things that we talked about
Yes.
plays a major role in the patient recovery.
Yes, 100%.
If we are normalizing divorce here, are we following the wrong thing?
Okay, it's a great question. There are two ways to look at it. Now, what we would have also seen is a lot of relationships, probably when I was growing up, a lot of relationships were quite toxic between the families and between the parents. They still chose to be with each other because one was financial dependency, the second one was the entire taboo around the
Society.
word the divorce, right? So now it has kind of removed the taboo. So, which means a lot of people, it can be men and women, who feel the relationship is not progressing despite putting in all the effort. This is the key term that most people miss out. The minute I have a disagreement with my partner, the first thing I'm going to look out for is for me to get out of the relationship. That probably is your own trauma response. Rather, how about you've given you 100% in making this relationship work? Both of you have tried every single thing, but sometimes you start to realize both of you are completely different people. You're not compatible at all. After you've tried every single thing, then because of the normalization of the word divorce, it's become much more less pressurizing on the individuals to kind of part ways. I know a lot of people who've taken the divorce after they've actually worked so much on themselves. Now both the parties are very happy. Both the parties are very happy. The children, they've taken the time and effort not just in making each other understand, but also the child understand that this is happening. Dad is like this, mom is like this. It's not compatible for us. But both of us will still love you. When it has to come to something that boils down to you, we'll always be together. And they've held that commitment. That is completely fine. But now, because again, like you said, because of the normalization, it's very easy to get a divorce right now. So when you don't address the trauma inside of you and you leave a person, let's say you leave your husband, you leave your wife, and you jump into another relationship, you will experience the same thing in another relationship if you've not healed yourself. You will attract the same pattern. So that is the problem with US or other countries where divorce is normalized for the wrong reasons. It's not normalized for the right reasons. Now, because of the normalization, will there be pros and cons to it? Absolutely. Because not everybody makes an aware choice. People are going to take choices depending on the trauma response, because the trauma response is very, it's like actives in your body. It just wants to get out of it. And if you don't work on releasing that, I also have, people who come to me, 2, 3 divorces, same patterns. And they still choose not to change. I'm 100% confident they'll get married once again and go through the same process. Because it boils down to, are you willing to heal yourself? Are you willing to love yourself?
Based on whatever you're telling me, everything kind of like boils down to like what you tell your mind,
Absolutely.
right? You keep on feeding your thoughts, and then that gets manifested or affirmation or something like
Yes,
that.
yes.
And then you talk about this mental diet,
Yeah.
right? So we talk about fasting diet, you're talking about mental.
It's very similar actually if you take a look at it.
Tell us more about it.
So basically, when you want to become fit, like how you always recommend people, cut off the sugar, don't eat junk, don't consume something, don't put into your body something that the body may not need, right? Same thing you do on a mental level. So now what ends up happening is, let's say morning till evening, you're just scrolling through Instagram, scrolling through YouTube. First, let's understand the science behind why it's so easy for people to watch cat videos or girls dancing compared to sitting down and watching a TED talk or a long form video. When you're consciously watching these videos, right, after a point of time, it just becomes a habit. Now, your brain has understood after every 30 seconds there is going to be a switch. Your brain has gotten accustomed to it. Now, if you give your brain a 10-minute video, it's going to be like, it's too much of a work for me, right? That is number one. Second thing, when you watch a content video, or when you want something that could possibly have the effects of changing your life, you have to comprehend it. You have to understand. There's a lot of work for the brain. The brain wants to do something where there is no effort, there is no work. Just swipe and watch reels. What ends up happening is, just like when you consume so much sugar and so much unhealthy food, your body becomes fat, you become unhealthy. Similarly, what you put into your mind determines who you truly become. So now, with the access to so much social media, the access to so much internet, we've become mindless about what we're consuming. That's why they've started to even call scrolling is the new smoking. People keep scrolling so mindlessly, not understanding they're wasting their life on it. Because people think, I'm just wasting 2 hours. Where is the 2 hours coming from? It's still your life. Okay. So mental diet is a process where you deprive yourself from anything that will not make you better in your life. First thing I recommend people is stay away from social media. Or if you are working in a marketing industry, or if you have to be a part of social media, make sure you spend only 30 minutes on social media and unfollow all the profiles that don't benefit you. Because, for example, let's say I'm watching content where constantly I'm listening to health experts like you and other people telling me, okay, do this, do this, do this. After a point of time, that is who I will become. That will become my way of thinking. So when I did my mental diet, it is difficult. It's not the easiest. I took a 30-day window. I said, in these 30 days, I am going to fill my day with things that will only make me better. Nothing else from the outside. So I cut off from my friends. I think I did this during COVID. I cut off from my friends. I cut off from literally anything that would make my energy go down or make me think differently. Every
What do you mean by
morning.
energy go down? You feel not good?
Yeah, not good. So when people have conflicts, when people gossip, so cut off all people who would gossip, complain, crib, all of that. Because that puts your energy down and you're constantly engaging in conversations that don't make you better. So for 30 days, every morning, I would wake up and I would do this process called savers. Okay, it's from a book called Miracle Morning. So SAVER stands for silence, affirmation, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing. It's a 6-step process. It will take approximately 45 minutes to 1 hour. Did that process. Then I would watch a minimum of 1 to 2 hours of YouTube content, which is of great value to your brain, body, and how the soul works, quantum science and quantum physics, everything that inspired me. Then I would go about doing my work. Then I would go out and work out in the evening in my terrace. And night before I go to sleep, I used a process called night tapes. Night tapes are nothing but affirmations recorded in my own voice. And I've repeated the affirmations in loops and I've put a nice mild music at the background. It runs for 4 hours. I put it on my ears and go off to sleep. So when
Example?
So for example, the affirmations for all 5 areas of my life. I'm healthy, I'm amazing, everything in my life is happening for my highest good. I'm destined for something really big. I'm here to create a huge difference. All of these things, even before I started doing all of this. So I used to put that in my ears and just go off to sleep. So your conscious mind is sleeping when you're sleeping. Your subconscious mind is always awake. So it's directly sinking into your subconscious mind. So now the first time when I did this, on the 7th day, I took a break. As in, I had this very, what would I say, that craving towards doing something that was unhealthy. I ended up gossiping with a friend. I told myself, no, go back from day one again. Started again. Again, I think it was a 22nd day. Again, I goofed up. Again, I started. So the third time, because it is difficult, because you're depriving, there's a lot of withdrawal symptom. Like how you quit smoking, there's going to be a lot of withdrawal symptom. Similarly, this also will happen. But after the 30th day, that's why I always tell my people, if you can follow mental diet for 1 month, you will see 2 to 3 years of progress in less than 1 year. Easily. Your mindset is so different. The way you look at things. Because what we need to understand is there are only three things that are in our control: our perception, our decisions, and our actions. What truly determines your perception? What truly determines the meaning that you give to the things on the outside? Because inherently, no events have any meaning. It is about the meaning that you give to it depending on what you believe about yourself and what you believe about the world. If you can work on creating this mental diet for yourself and you stick through that, there is not one person that I've met who's done mental diet and their lives have not transformed. You become a completely different person. Like when you say when you cut down sugar for 2 weeks, your face puffiness goes away, you start to feel much different. Same thing happens to your mind. Because this happens to your mind, your decision making is very different. The way you take action, no more procrastination, all of that has gone out of the roof. The way you act itself is very, very different.
So savers is the mental diet.
No, savers is the morning practice I did.
I see.
So it's silence, affirmation, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing. Scribing is every day I would write 2 pages of my goals. What is that I want to manifest? So I show this to my audience. So I think this was not a part of mental diet. This was a part of a process called goals journaling.
How long does it take in general on average to change that affirmation or to get the normalization?
So science initially said it was 21 days, but now it has been proven that 66 days without a break, if you can do something consistently, your entire subconscious belief will change about it. So now the catch here is most people think only if I do those affirmations the first 1 hour of my day, for 66 days, things will change. 1 hour of your day, fine. What about the remaining 15 hours of your day? If you constantly, 1 hour, oh, I'm amazing, I love myself, everything is happening for my highest good. Remaining 15 hours, you're anxious and you're thinking, why is this not happening? Why is this person cheating me? All of this happens. So which means you're reaffirming the old ways. So for this, there's a hack. So you can use something called the alarm technique. So alarm technique is nothing but from morning till night, have 5 to 6 alarms. I used to have this. Before I met my husband, I used to have extremely bad belief system around relationships. So for me to change that, every 2 hours or 3 hours, the alarm would go saying, love affirmations. So those affirmations, no matter I'm sitting with a friend, I'm sitting in a restaurant, put my earphones on just constantly. So what
Because
this...
you've recorded before.
Yes. What this does is you're in that momentum of thinking the positive thoughts, in that moment of believing what is possible for you throughout the day. So subconsciously also it's working, consciously also you're making the change. Now, the twist in this is most of this work, what we do is intangible. So when I go on a diet, it's easy because I stand on the weighing scale. I know I'm losing weight. It's so much more easy for you to be on track because it is tangible result. So now here, it is all about faith. Faith that you have in yourself, faith that you have in the universe, faith that you have in the future, that this is going to work out for you. So every time when something does not happen the way I want it to happen, I always tell myself, this is exactly what is supposed to happen to me in my life so that I can get what I asked for. When this becomes your way of thinking, no matter what things are happening on the outside, you're still so confident and assured that whatever you asked is going to come true for you in your life.
And you have seen that in your experience on your...
Every time. Because I grew up in a very dysfunctional family. I did not have a lot of money. Like my dad was into gambling all his life. So it was a very difficult childhood for me. Zero self-esteem, 4 relationships, all failed relationships, toxic relationships. So for me to be living the life that I'm living right now, I owe all of it to what I'm teaching right now. It has worked, not just for me, for thousands of other people, and for all the mentors that I've learned from. This works.
And consistency is the key.
Always, for anything.
Anything.
Because repetition is the key even for us to change our subconscious beliefs. Repetition is the key even for us to build muscles. Similarly, repetition is the key.
So Gayathri, we talked about how addictive any personality can be, right? Any thought process can be. And everything. And it is... Addiction is angled from a mindset.
Yes.
Mindset standpoint.
Yes.
And previously, it used to be like smoking, alcohol, and everything. And now it's a big thing about social media.
Correct.
I'm not even talking about consumption. In fact, creating
Oh, yeah.
content,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That could be a part of it as well. I'll tell you my personal experience. Okay, so when I started, I came into social media very accidentally, and then I got all these subscribers pretty fast. And then what turned out to be a hobby eventually slowly started act as a work.
Yes, correct.
Eventually.
Correct.
And I've told this in the past as well, where I reached like 2 million subscribers on YouTube. That's where I decided that this is, at that time, there was a moment where I thought that, okay, so this is not, I mean, I'm not enjoying the process that much as I was before.
Yes.
So I absolutely loved my journey from 0 to 1 million.
Yes.
This 1 million to 2 million was not that enjoyable.
It was a lot of pressure.
It was a lot of pressure, a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Right? So because, I'm creating content, I want to make sure that looks good.
Yeah.
And it is very clear in my joke delivery.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I start writing a script, before I will just deliver without any pressure.
Yes.
Right? And I was so naive and innocent.
No, you were in a state of flow.
I was in state of flow.
Yes.
So now, with all the attention,
Yeah.
there was even without my knowledge, there was some kind of cloudiness
Yes.
around it. So
Yes.
I even a single joke I used to deliver like multiple times.
Yes.
Whether I'm getting it right
Yes.
or. So then at that 2 million mark, I said, this is not my full-time job.
Yes.
Okay, so why should I do this?
Yes.
So let me just go back to my previous thing. So that I was able to make that change because I had a full-time job.
Right.
Which was financially very good for me.
Right.
But I'm just thinking, if I didn't have that, and I'm just thinking about all these new people who are coming into YouTube, social media, creating content and all those things, addiction in both the creation and consumption
Yes.
is a big problem.
Oh, it is a crazy problem. And we become so desperate after a point of time. See, I get what you're saying.
Right?
I get what you're
because
saying.
So if you are consuming
Mm-hmm.
and if you are seeing all the videos that is telling you should be like this, you should not be like this, and you are creating an anxiety within you
Yes.
that why am I not picking
Yes.
the same lifestyle?
Yes.
The common example that I do is that, okay, I have a friend who posts beautiful pictures with his wife in a beautiful landscape and everything, right?
Okay.
So all those pictures were like picture perfect.
Yeah.
I called him, I said, this looks beautiful, right? And he said, don't even ask me about it. I only know how much amount of trouble that I took,
Yes.
that my wife made me took 10 minutes before.
Exactly. And you take oh my God, this reminds me. What you're saying is 100% true. So once my husband and I were in Kovalam. We had gone to Kovalam and we were staying in a resort. And it was a very, very beautiful ocean view resort that we were staying in. And both of us are sitting, we're having dinner, not dinner, we were just snacking in the evening. And I'm seeing a girl standing there. And she was very, very upset and very sad. And the ocean was so beautiful. She's standing there like this, very upset. And I did not understand what she was going through. All of a sudden, no, she was also fighting with her boyfriend. There was some problem that was happening. Then somebody came to take pictures of her. You should have seen her. She's doing this, she's doing this. She's portraying in the pictures as though she's enjoying the moment. But is that the truth? No. That's why don't be deceived by what you see on social media. Every perfect picture that goes out there on social media has gone through immense edits and immense photoshops for it to look the way it is looking right now. Even you go to the same places where that amazing influencer has posted that picture from, the place won't look that beautiful because of the color correction and because of all of that. So now the social media is designed to keep us addicted to it. Let's understand the business behind social media. The more number of users on Facebook and Instagram, the more number of time that people spend on Facebook and Instagram can run ads of other people who are pumping in money into that so that they're making revenue out of it. We think it's free, but what they're charging us is our time and our attention and our focus into it. So now, especially youngsters, it's so disheartening to see how young girls and young boys feel so insignificant about who they are and how they look because of them comparing how they look with all of these celebrities. most of the celebrities that they have as idols are somebody who's gone through some kind of a surgery. This is not for me to debate if the surgery is good or not. It is somebody's personal choice and personal opinion. But for a young child, for 15, 16-year-old child to look at all of this and to use them as role model and say my jawline has to be like this, my nose has to be like this, think about how much self-esteem issues that they have. They grow up with these kind of self-esteem issues. Now because they don't feel they're good enough, they go. That's why I always say the minute you start to love yourself, so many businesses will run out of business. Because everything, when we were growing up, it was this one specific brand that said you put this cream, you'll become fair. Because of the obsession for that generation to become fair. Now the obsession is much more deeper. See, if you actually debate, some people are going to say, oh, okay, I was not born beautiful. Maybe now I have the process of getting to that point. First of all, who made you believe that you're not beautiful? Who made you believe that only if your face is symmetrical, you're beautiful? So we've been made to believe that this is what beauty is, and we've been made to believe that only when I'm like that, I'm beautiful. So now we have a little bit of an awareness. It is easier for us to stay away from it. But think about the children, no awareness, the peer pressure, constantly talking about, look at Kim Kardashian, look at them, look. They have zero idea about what all happens when you put all of these things on your body and when you go through these surgeries. The next generation, I'm really kind of even scared for the amount of exposure that they have towards social media and amount of pressure that they have. What you said is very true when it comes to content creation. I was talking to my team because we've also started doing podcasting right now. When we did the first podcast, it was more about I have to look a specific way. I want the questions to be right. I want the questions to be perfect and all of that. Once I finished the podcast, I sat my team down and I told them, if I have to continue doing the way I did right now, in 10 podcasts, I will be burnt out and I will give up. But from the second podcast onwards, in my mind, the intuitive thought was, you be yourself, you have a normal conversation, people will love it. Because people have shown all that love for who you were, not for who you thought you should be. So the more real you become, because as Dr. Paul, you have this unique blend of humor and science, right? I have a different blend. When we stay true to what our blend is, which means it comes naturally to us. When things come organically for us, you can do that for hours together without getting exhausted. That is why when you take a look at all these people who've become super duper successful in life are the ones that do things that they truly love doing. Not because they copied from somewhere else and they wanted to be or pretend like somebody else. So if this is a message that is going out to our youngsters, the only thing I would love to say is, first identify what truly fascinates you. It could be science, it could be anything. Start working on your authentic skills. Because there is nobody you can compete with your own authenticity. You're the only unique person. And when you do something that you're authentic with, always, you don't get burnt out in the process also.
Being original, being authentic is the concept of Big Boss.
Yes, of course.
See, I'm surprised that, I made a reel on Big Boss.
Yeah.
Where I said that, it is a voyeurism. Voyeurism is a medical condition where people actually enjoy other people's
suffering.
pleasure and suffering.
Yeah, correct.
Right? Looking at through a window. You also did a reel on the Big Boss. What is your take on it?
I mean, it could be controversial again, but for some reason, I did get a lot of love for posting that. See, any show that kind of makes you forget your reality and gives you options to look at somebody else's reality, it will work. All reality shows are based on that, and Big Boss has been proven to work the same way, not just in India, across the world also. So basically what happens is, I have a lot of problem going on in my life, right? And I don't want to work on that problem because it takes a lot of effort and a lot of work for me to work on that problem. What is the easiest way? If you take a look at addiction, any kind of an addiction is trying to fill that void inside of us with something on the external. And any kind of an addiction is also a mechanism that will help us forget what is happening in a reality temporarily. It can be alcohol, it can be porn addiction, it can be Instagram, it can be anything. Big Boss is pretty much the same. So every time you watch a show like Big Boss, what ends up happening to you and your brain? So we have two major parts of the brain, right? One is the prefrontal cortex, which is the CEO of your brain. The other part of your brain is the amygdala, which is for the emotions and all of that. Every time you watch a show like Big Boss, or you gossip about your colleague, or you gossip about your mother-in-law, or all of this, you crib and complain about your life, the amygdala gets activated. Because the amygdala gets activated when your emotions are high, intelligence is low. This overpowers your prefrontal cortex. As a result of which, you don't have high self-esteem, you can't think rationally properly, and you really can't focus on the things that truly matter to you in your life. You're so consumed. If you see Big Boss is over 100 days, right? On the 3.5 months, everybody is talking about that. You go on social media literally, so you cannot just escape from that, because social media, like I said, is designed to keep you addicted to it. So as much as you can. So some people also debated on my reel saying, I'm watching this for learning purposes. Great. Some people, sometimes me and my team members, we sit down and watch a show like that to understand, why do you think this person behaved this way? What could possibly be the reason of them behaving this way? If you're able to look at it objectively, now ask yourself. So the biggest thing in the process of personal development is to call out your own bullshit, which is, you can tell something to the world. Is that actually true to yourself? So if you're watching Big Boss because you're addicted to it, address that you're addicted to it so that you can work on that addiction. Rather, don't go out and tell, no, I'm just watching this only so that I can see it objectively. If you have the power to see it objectively and not let it affect you, great. But if you don't, refrain from any shows, okay, that make you feel those feelings of insecurity, make you feel those feelings of hatred, make you feel those feelings of I'm not good enough, they are good, all of that. These don't serve anything in your life.
Including television series, no? Serial.
Oh my God, serial is another tangent altogether. If you take a look at, now I don't know how the serials are, but when I was growing up, because I used to see a lot of my neighbors watch serials, it always used to be about the conflict between a mother-in-law and a daughter-in-law.
No, it's the
Every
same. It's only difference is daughter-in-law and mother-in-law.
It's crazy. So basically, even in a household where they're probably having a great cordial relationship, they're made to feel this is how it is supposed to be. See, understand, any two human beings coming together, there are going to be conflicts. So is for a mother-in-law and a daughter-in-law. And for a mother-in-law and a daughter-in-law, it's slightly more complicated because both of them have one common man in their life, which is the son. And the mom, think about it from the mom's perspective. She's very possessive about the son. Think about from the daughter-in-law's perspective. She's like, what did I do wrong? I'm just married to this family. So all of this exaggeration and trying to show the negative shades of it on social media is actually having, not just social media, even in the serials, is actually having such an impact on the minds of people at home. Because think about it, they really don't have anything substantial to do in their life. All that they do is sit and watch the serial. And in their mind, they're like, okay, this is how I need to treat my mother-in-law, this is how I need to treat my daughter-in-law, which is so not true. So that is why I say, if you don't fill your day with high priority actions, your day will be filled with low priority distractions. This is one of the low priority distractions.
You know, like my friend's son, he's only like 9 years old.
Is it Sarana Kumar's?
So he calls me, and I mean, I went to his home, and then he said, Uncle, I need to switch on this TV serial because I think he's asking me, I think this girl is going to run away from the house today.
Crazy.
That point actually was a light bulb moment for me, where I think that, kids less than 12 years of age, I do not think they have the maturity to handle these kind of interpretations.
Yes, and also the big emotions. They don't have the capacity to handle all of that. Now imagine a 10 or a 12-year-old child. The brain is in such developmental stage at that point of time, and constantly they're consuming information like this. The child is going to suffer after they grow up.
They will.
Yeah,
They will.
yeah.
The rise of teenage anxiety and depression has been significantly common.
Yes.
Do you think it's a role that society is playing, or is it because of the social media exposure?
It's a combination of both. So in the 90s, when I was growing up, the definition of love was truly determined by the Bollywood kind of love, which was not true at all. It was all about like grander than life kind of love, and the boy is chasing the girl, and people made us believe that that is how love looks like, which is not true. All those butterflies that you feel in your stomach, that is anxiety. People don't understand that. So if you're not able to be calm when you're with your partner, it means something on the inside is not okay. And we were made to believe that having those butterflies and just having those sleepless nights is amazing. It's not. None of that is true. That is a form of infatuation. So this generation, because they have so much exposure to these kind of things, what ends up happening is they're trying to compare they're behind the scenes with somebody else's highlights. Think about it. For us to put this podcast together, there's so much work that has gone behind it. But what the world gets to see on social media is just the beautiful conversation and nicely edited videos. Until you understand the truth behind things, you're constantly going to keep comparing this. Every time when you compare yourself with something else that is put out on social media, you feel like you're not good enough. You feel like you're incapable. And this level of anxiety and depression, the major cause is because people are disconnected with who they are.
We talked about throughout the episode loving ourselves.
Yes.
I will tell you many instances where I've seen my friends, they said, I'm in my self-love.
Yeah.
And when my self-lovers, they do whatever they want. They smoke, they drink,
Drink,
alcohol,
they have
gamble.
fun, yeah.
They say, I'm in self-love. Okay. And what is true self-love and how do we differentiate between and what's the fine line?
Thank you so much for asking this, because self-love is one of the most misunderstood concepts. Because what most people think self-love is going to a spa, getting that massage done. And sometimes I've also seen people say, I'm in my self-love era. I'm going to eat all these burgers and pizzas and drink soda, because that is what they've been made to believe. Self-love is your ability to sit with yourself without seeking for a distraction, which means you're so comfortable being who you are. You feel like there's nothing wrong with you, where you also understand there is a lot of scope of improvement. You accept yourself for who you are. You also understand there's a lot of scope of improvement. And for example, eating healthy is actually the true form of self-love, not eating junk. Because every time you're eating healthy, you're putting in your body what your body truly wants, which means you're respecting this temple of body, and you're not putting something just for your tongue, just for, see, even eating sugary stuff and eating chips and all of that is for you to satisfy the emotions inside of you that you're not able to process. You want to distract, and emotional eating is a form of that. Binge eating is a form of that. So, going to a spa is great. Getting your manicure, pedicures done is great. But that is not what self-love is. Self-love is your ability to understand and accept yourself for who you are, knowing that there is a lot of improvement, but there is nothing wrong with you. That is truly what self-love is.
How do we build that?
Yeah. It starts with a lot of conversations with yourself. The one person that you're conversing with from the time that you're born till the time that you die is with yourself. What is the talk? How do you talk to yourself? When you miss out on doing something that you told yourself you're going to do, are you going to be rude with yourself, or are you going to be kind with yourself? Now, there is a balance that you need to have with self-love and accountability. Let's say you told yourself, I'm not going to eat cake, and that one evening you went out to a party and you ate a piece of cake. Beating yourself up is not okay. But continuing the same thing the next day is also not okay. So you knowing that you will be accountable to what you said you will do. And the best way for you to build self-love and self-esteem is to do the things that you told yourself you're going to do, irrespective of how you feel. No matter how difficult that is.
Irrespective of how you feel.
Yes. So for example, today I don't feel like going out for a run in the morning. But I committed to myself saying, for my fitness, I'm going to go for a run in the morning. It doesn't matter how you feel. You feel like you don't want to go out for a run because of habit. So now you're going to wake up, go out for a run because you told yourself you're going to go out for a run, and you love yourself. So now the entire construct starts to change. You start to put healthy things in your mouth, you start to put healthy things in your mind, and your entire life starts to change.
But that's what the willpower is, right? Or is it different?
Willpower is different. So willpower is basically something, for example, willpower will fade off with time. That is why motivation fades off with time. So when you commit to something, so I use this process called value stacking. We all have top priority things in our life, right? For me, my 3 top priority things are, first one is working on myself, working with my clients, my business. This is my first priority. Second is my wealth, how I'm building my wealth. The third priority is my husband and my family. These are my top 3 priorities in the same sequence. I am not guilty of it. And people have tried to make me feel guilty of it. And guilt is also nothing but you trying to compare what you're doing with what is expected out of you. That's it. So if you are very clear of what you're doing and it gives you a lot of happiness and satisfaction and all of that, just continue to do that. So now, anytime, if I want to start something new as a habit, if I put that habit to one of these 3 things, for example, let's say fitness has been one of my least priorities always. Now, how do I make it one of my highest priorities? By asking myself, Gayathri, how would you being fit help all these 3 areas of your life? If I'm fit, I can stand on the stage for 3 days. I can help my clients become really better. So it's benefiting there. When I become fit, I can start to build multiple businesses, I can build a lot of wealth, and I can help a lot of people. When I become fit, I can have a healthy family. We can travel the world. So, because it is helping all of this, it becomes easier for me to make decisions in alignment with fitness. So, always identify what your top priorities are in your life and link the values of what habit you want to create with those top three priorities. It becomes, then, no, you're not using your willpower. You're naturally doing the right thing.
You were so clear on your priorities.
Yes.
So you worked on it?
Yes, it's taken a lot of time for me to work on it, and now I'm extremely clear. These are my priorities. So, for example, let's say I have a family function. Very recently, it happened. I had a family function. I also had a session that I had to deliver to my students. That family function was very important, but I knew I would feel miserable if I missed this and went there because this was my priority. I told my husband and my mother-in-law saying, both of you go because that is also important, but I will not come. I never felt guilty about it. The problem is most people feel guilty for doing the things that they genuinely want to do. So you start understanding guilt is nothing but what you're trying to compare your actions with what is expected out of you. When you remove that expectation, you're just happy with what you do.
But when you remove the expectations, you may be cutting off of many things out of your life.
So what I believe is, when I do these three things, if I did not attend the session, I would be miserable. If I'm miserable, I'll make my people around me also miserable. So why do that? When I'm happy, I can still go to that relative's house on a different day and sit with them and spend more time rather than going for whatever that function was. So when I am clear with my priorities, I feel nobody from the outside can make me feel guilty about what I want.
How long did it take for you to do this priority?
It's taken a long
time. Right? It was not easy.
I've been a people pleaser all my life. So you call me anywhere, I have work, no work, I'll be there. So it's taken, I've taken the hard route to get to this point.
1 to 2 years?
The last few years, I've been very consistent with this. I've been able to say no without feeling guilty. I think by practice, 1 to 2 years, yes, easily, for me to get to this point.
Beautiful. 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 Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
It has been a wonderful session, and I think it was almost like a individual private session for me.
That's so kind of you. Thank you. I had a blast with you. It was amazing. It's amazing to meet you in person.
Oh, thank you.
So for all of you who's saying he's the same on screen, off screen, it's very rare I get to see people like this. He's the same on screen, off screen. So loving, so kind, great sense of humor. It was a fabulous time with you, Dr.
Thank
Paul.
you so much. I'm going to write the 3 priorities from today.
Yes.
In 2 years, I'll be in the same place. Thank you, Gayathri.
Thank you so much. Thank you.